Hello everyone, my name is Amalia Mondani and welcome to my presentation video. In this presentation, I will present the kinds of materials and also, the kinds of instructional materials and also the types of instructional materials. And it is still related to the previous presenter, which is Rimulyani. So, okay, now let's get started. Okay, the next point of kinds of instructional materials is audiovisual aids. These audiovisual aids, the main purpose of it is to help these teachers to make their lessons more effective and more interesting. Why? Because according to Daniel, audiovisual aids can increase the interest of students in learning, because you know that audiovisual shows audio and at the same time visual that can be seen by the students. They will enjoy the teaching and learning process more, and they can gain more interest. There are three examples of audiovisual aids. The first is motion pictures. Motion pictures, according to Cambridge Dictionary, it is the synonym of film or movie. So we can as a teacher we can use short film to be showed to the students and help our teaching and learning process in the class. And then the next example is television. You know that some program might be help us and can be used in the class to help us as well in the teaching and learning process. And then the last example is videotape. But nowadays we usually didn't find videotape because, that it's a globalization. Everything is already advanced in case of technology, right? Because according to Cambridge Dictionary, videotape is usually used in the old era, which is a video that being recorded in a magnetic tape. So that we usually find these days like video from YouTube, from any other kind of social media, and in general in internet, right? Okay, the next point of kinds of instructional materials is demonstration. This type of instructional materials provide the core of information of the information. And the students will learn and apply it during the course. And demonstration also one of the tools that allows the students to engage more to the class and then demonstrate to them and give them a clear understanding and comprehending about the materials that being taught in the class. It is according to teachchange.com. So we go to the next point, which is community resource. Community resource is a resource that exists in your community, for example in your town. The examples of community resource is field trips. So when you if you want to make the teaching and learning process more interesting, you can do field trips to, for example, zoo, and then museum, or learning center, or any kind of community resource that you can find in your town, in your city. The second example is resource person. You can bring someone or a person to a class, for example, and then gave the students better understanding about certain materials that you teach in the class. But we as a teacher have to be really picky when it comes to resource person, because we have to provide a reliable person to the students. The next point of instructional materials, the kinds of it, is language laboratory. Language laboratory, as we maybe already know, that it provides headphones, computer, so the students can access directly to the materials. For example, in listening, the students can um, listen it directly, and the teaching and learning process will be better. The next point is programmed instruction. According to Bernard, he stated that programming instructions learning refers to arrangement of the instructional materials that being provided to the students. So the students will have a the clarity of the teaching and learning process, that they will what they will learn, what they will get after that. Okay, the next point that I will present here is the type of instructional materials. The first example of it is a textbook. Textbooks is usually the main reference of the entire course. And then the second one is usually chosen by the school. You know that because there are a lot of various type of textbooks, the school has their own rights or will to choose what kind of textbook that they want to give to the student. Textbooks also arranged in the units or chapters, which labeled according to the skills, according to the theme, according to the topic, grammar structures that usually is depending on the syllabus that being used as well, because it has to be correlated between the textbook and the syllabus. And the last point is contains reading, teaching points, skill activities, and tasks for everyday lessons. As I told you before, that textbooks is usually used for the entire course. It has like everyday activities, for example, everyday competencies that the students have to achieve. The next type of instructional materials is workbook or skill book. You know that workbook and skill book is usually accompanies textbooks. They are like perfecting each other, because textbook or workbook provide exercises and drills of specific skills, for example in listening, writing, speaking, and reading, because textbooks just kind of like more explaining to the students about what is the topic is. Workbook more likely a book that help them to exercises to what's that to make their skill better with the exercises that is provided in the book. And the last point is it workbook presents reinforcement and remedial activities to support lesson in the textbook. You know that as I told you before that workbook perfecting each other with the textbook. It provides material that not provided in the textbook. And the last thing that I will present in this video presentation is teacher's book or teacher's manual or teacher's guide. This kind of book is contains a detailed rationale for the textbook. You know that textbook and workbook, they are related, and also there are another thing, which is teacher's book. Teacher's book help the teachers to know more about the rationale for the textbook, and also it explains the scope and sequence of the book itself to help the teachers to present it to the students, because you know that sometimes students need guidance from the teachers on how to use this book, because there are a lot of things in the books that needed to be comprehending. It means that the teachers have to guide them, and also the teachers need guidance as well to how to use the textbook properly and correctly. And the third point is um, teacher's book includes introductory notes on how to use the textbook, specific objectives that the textbook's meant to, and helping the teachers as well to what's that to mean, what kind of strategies that have to be used when the teachers use that book in the class. The last point is the teacher's book is it provides guidance in planning the lesson for materials to suggested activities, because as I will told you that teacher also need guidance on how to use textbook properly. It already provided in the teacher's book. Okay, now it is the last of my presentations. I hope that you can comprehend clearly from what I already explained. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.